The planning dinner was at Luminaire, the restaurant where Caroline wanted her rehearsal. Truffle oil and quiet money, that's what the air smelled like. White tablecloths so crisp they could cut skin. Diane still works at that nonprofit, Caroline said, holding up the seating chart like evidence in court. It's embarrassing. We can't have her at the head table looking like that. Mom's pen was already moving across my name. Clean, decisive strokes. The kind you use when erasing a mistake. She makes what, 40,000? My brother Marcus added. Jessica's friends are all executives. Doctors. What's Diane going to talk about? Homeless people. Dad sipped his wine. Said nothing. That silence was its own verdict. I'd worked in event coordination for 12 years before starting my nonprofit. I knew exactly how Luminaire operated. I knew because I'd consulted for their ownership group in 2019, restructuring their vendor contracts, saving them $340,000 annually. The owner, Richard Chin, sent me a bottle of 1990 Chateau Margaux as thanks. I also knew that Caroline's deposit, $15,000 for the venue, plus another $8,000 for the rehearsal dinner, had been paid by a corporate card registered to DRP Event Solutions. My company. My card. Caroline had asked to use my connections 8 months ago. Could I help with vendor discounts? Maybe leverage my nonprofit relationships? I'd smiled, agreed, and quietly paid for everything while she bragged to the family about her fiancé's generosity. I pulled out my phone under the table. Typed one email to my operations director, Kira. Cancel Parker Reynolds' wedding. All contracts. Immediate. Caroline's phone rang during dessert. She glanced at the screen, Luminaire's venue manager, and sent it to voicemail, annoyed at the interruption. It rang again 30 seconds later. Excuse me, she said, stepping away from the table with practiced grace. The kind of grace that comes from never being told no. We could hear her voice from the hallway. Professional at first. Then confused. Then shrill. He came back to the table pale. Actually pale, not the controlled blush she usually performed. The venue manager says our deposit was refunded, Caroline said slowly, like the words didn't make sense in that order. They're saying the account holder requested cancellation. But that's impossible. Jason paid. I paid, I said. The table went silent. What? Mom's voice was sharp. The deposit. The rehearsal dinner contract. The floral retainer at Botanica Gardens. The photography advance with Chin Studios. The cake deposit at Sucre. I paid for all of it. 8 months ago. You asked me to help with my connections. Marcus laughed. Actually laughed. Diane, this isn't funny. DRP Event Solutions, I continued. My consulting company. The one I started after leaving event coordination. We do corporate event planning, vendor negotiations, and contract management for high-net-worth clients. Last year's revenue was $2.4 million. This year we're projected at $3.1 million. I opened my phone, pulled up the payment portal, turned the screen toward Caroline. Transaction history. $15,000 to Luminaire. $8,000 to Luminaire Catering. $4,500 to Botanica Gardens. $6,000 to Chin Studios. $2,800 to Sucre Patisserie. All paid from my corporate account. All refunded 2 hours ago. Caroline's hands were shaking. You can't. This is my wedding. I did. Every contract lists DRP Event Solutions as the primary account holder. You're listed as the event contact. When the primary account holder requests cancellation and refund, venues comply. It's standard. Dad finally spoke. Diane, this is unreasonable. What's unreasonable? I said, voice level, is being told I'm too embarrassing to sit with my own family. What's unreasonable is my mother crossing my name off a seating chart like I'm a typo. I stood up. Left $200 bills on the table for my untouched meal. You wanted successful family only at that head table, I said. I've removed myself. And my $36,300 in deposits. I walked out of Luminaire into the November cold. Sharp and biting. The kind that makes you feel clean. The ghost ledger. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I opened a new spreadsheet. Title: The Cost of Being Invisible. Line item 1. Caroline's college graduation. I flew from Seattle to Boston. Took 2 days off work. Bought the Kate Spade bag she wanted, $3.40. At dinner, Dad toasted her accomplishments for 8 minutes. When it was my turn, Mom cut me off after 40 seconds. We need to order. Cost, self-worth. Memory of being celebrated. Never recoverable. Line item 2. Marcus's promotion party. I coordinated the entire event at his request. Booked the venue using my vendor relationships. Saved him $4,000. During speeches, his boss asked who planned it. Marcus said, a professional coordinator. Very expensive. I was standing 10 feet away. Cost, professional acknowledgement. The phrase, my sister did this. Never refunded. Line item 3. Mom's 60th birthday. I spent 3 months planning the surprise party. Guest list of 50. Caroline arrived late, brought store-bought wine. Mom's thank you speech. Caroline, you always know exactly what I need. Cost, recognition. The sentence, Diane organized this. Never spoken. Line item 4. Family Christmas every year. I give thoughtful gifts, researched and personal. Last year I gave Dad a first edition of his favorite Steinbeck novel. $2.80. He opened it, said, nice, moved on. Caroline gives gift cards. Gets hugged for being practical. Cost, belief that effort matters. Erosion happens slowly then suddenly. Line item 5. The nonprofit years. 8 years running homeless services. Started with $12,000 in savings. Now serving 340 people annually. 89% program efficiency. Featured in Seattle Times. Mom's response when I sent the article, that's nice, honey. Caroline got promoted to VP. Cost, family pride. The words, we're proud of you. Never issued. Line item 6. Every phone call. I call weekly. Tell them about grant wins, new housing contracts, people we've helped. Response, polite. Brief. Then, did you hear Caroline bought a Tesla? Cost, enthusiasm. The feeling someone cares about your victories. Depleted. Line item 7. This planning dinner. I pay for their wedding. Leverage 12 years of industry relationships. Save them tens of thousands. Get uninvited from the head table for being unsuccessful. Cost, dignity. The belief family means something. Balance now 0. Total cost. 1 relationship, unsalvageable. I saved the spreadsheet. Sent it to no one. Some ledgers exist just so you know the math is real. Internal reflection. The slot machine theory. There's a concept in psychology called the gambler's fallacy. You keep feeding the slot machine because you're convinced the jackpot is coming. One more quarter. One more kind gesture. One more attempt to prove your worth. The fallacy isn't that you're playing. It's that you think the machine has memory. That it's tracking your investment and will eventually pay out because you've earned it. Family worked like that for me. I kept depositing love, effort, professional success, thinking eventually the display would light up. Congratulations, you matter. But slot machines don't have memory. They're programmed for randomness and profit. And some families operate the same way. I think I knew this at Caroline's college graduation. That moment when Mom cut me off mid-sentence to order appetizers. Something small died then. Something that whispers, they'll see you eventually. Just keep trying. But I kept feeding the machine. There was a specific moment. A sensory memory I can't shake. Marcus's promotion party. I was standing near the bar watching him accept congratulations for an event I'd designed. The bartender asked if I wanted another drink. I said no. The background noise went blurry. Laughter, clinking glasses, classic jazz. And for 5 seconds I felt completely invisible. Not ignored. Invisible. Like I could walk out and the party would continue, perfect and complete, never noticing the absence. That's when I started my consulting company. Not as revenge. As proof of concept. Could I exist successfully outside their validation? Could I build something real that didn't require their applause to be legitimate? 3 years later, $2.4 million in revenue. Clients in 6 states. A team of 8. Industry awards. Media features. The slot machine never paid out. But I stopped playing. Procedural justice. How systems protect themselves. The morning after the planning dinner, my phone rang at 7 a.m. Richard Chin, owner of Luminaire. Diane, I got a call from a very upset bride. Caroline Parker. She's saying there's been a mistake with her deposit. No mistake, I said. I'm the account holder. I requested cancellation and refund. All contracts list DRP Event Solutions as primary. She's threatening legal action. She can try. The contracts are clear. Primary account holder has full cancellation rights within the refund window. We're 43 days out from the event. Your policy allows refunds up to 30 days prior with 25% retention. I'm within terms. Silence on the line. Then, you paid for your sister's wedding and she uninvited you. From the head table. For being unsuccessful. Richard laughed. It was brief but genuine. I'll handle her attorney if she calls. Your contract law is solid. And Diane? That restructuring you did for us in 2019? We're still using your vendor framework. You saved us another $90,000 last quarter. Thank you, Richard. Thank you. And I'm sorry your family is stupid. Caroline hired an attorney. James Morrison from Barrett & Klein. He sent a demand letter to DRP Event Solutions within 48 hours. My attorney, Patricia Zhao, responded same day. DRP Event Solutions was the primary account holder on all contracts related to the Parker Reynolds wedding. Ms. Diane Parker, as CEO of DRP Event Solutions, executed standard cancellation procedures within contractual terms. All deposits have been refunded per vendor policies. Ms. Caroline Parker was listed only as event contact, not account holder. She has no legal standing to challenge cancellations executed by the primary account holder. Marcus called me directly. Furious. You're destroying Caroline's wedding over a seating chart? That's insane. I'm not destroying anything. I've simply withdrawn my financial support. She's free to rebook everything. At full price. With a new deposit. We don't have $36,000 sitting around. Then maybe she shouldn't have uninvited the person who was paying for it. He hung up. Mom called next. Her voice had that controlled disappointment she'd perfected. The one that made you feel 6 years old and guilty for existing. Dan, this is cruel. You're punishing your sister on what should be the happiest day of her life. She punished me, I said simply. At a planning dinner for a wedding I was funding. He called me embarrassing. You crossed my name off the seating chart. Those were choices. You're being dramatic. I'm being factual. The contracts list my company as the account holder. I exercised standard cancellation rights. If she wants to get married at Luminaire, she can pay the deposits herself. We thought Jason had paid. He thought wrong. For 8 months, I've been quietly covering costs while she bragged about her fiancé's generosity. I helped because I'm family. Then I got uninvited from the head table for being unsuccessful. So I stopped helping. Your father thinks you're being spiteful. Tell Dad that spite would be showing up at the wedding and making a scene. What I did was business. Clean, documented, legal. The family business he's so proud of should appreciate that. I hung up before she could respond. Consequence cascade. The consequences arrived like dominoes. Slow at first, then accelerating. Week 1. Caroline tried to rebook Luminaire. The venue was now $22,000 for her date. Spring wedding season, high demand. She didn't have it. She tried Botanica Gardens. They were booked until October. Chin Studios? Booked. Sucre Patisserie? 6-month waitlist. Every vendor I'd secured with my industry relationships, now unavailable. Week 2. Caroline's story spread through the extended family. Aunt Ruth called me, voice stiff. I heard what you did. That was extreme. I withdrew financial support after being told I was too embarrassing to sit with successful family. Still, it's her wedding. It's my money. Aunt Ruth didn't call back. 3 cousins sided with Caroline. 2 sided with me. The rest stayed silent. The kind of silence that chooses sides through inaction. Week 3. Jason's parents got involved. They offered to cover some costs. Found a different venue, the Berkshire Hotel. Less prestigious. Available because someone else had cancelled. Caroline cried on the phone to Mom. I know because Mom called me, voice breaking. She's devastated. This isn't the wedding she wanted. Then she shouldn't have made it contingent on erasing me. Week 4. The wedding got rescheduled. Smaller. The Berkshire Hotel, 120 guests instead of 180. Local photographer instead of Chin Studios. Grocery store cake instead of Sucre. I received no invitation. Not even to the ceremony. I didn't expect one. 6 months later, I got a message from my event coordinator Kira. Luminaire wants to profile you for their Vendor Excellence series. They want to feature the work you did restructuring their operations. Richard specifically requested you. I did the interview. It published in Event Professional magazine 3 weeks later. 2-page spread. Photo of me at Luminaire, in the private dining room Caroline had wanted for her rehearsal dinner. The headline, How Diane Parker Built a $3.1 million Event Consulting Empire by Mastering the Details That Matter. Caroline saw it. I know because Marcus texted me, really? You had to do the interview at Luminaire? I didn't respond. The ending, 2 years later. DRP Event Solutions now operates in 4 cities. Revenue last year, $4.2 million. We've expanded into corporate retreat planning and nonprofit fundraising galas. I'm planning a gala for my homeless services nonprofit next month. Luminaire is hosting. 300 guests. Expected fundraising, $180,000. Richard Chin is donating the venue cost. He told me, what you did that night, walking away from people who didn't value you, that took guts. I respect that. Caroline got married at the Berkshire Hotel. I saw photos on social media. It looked fine. Perfectly fine. The kind of fine that comes from compromise and reduced expectations. I don't speak to my parents anymore. Or Marcus. Or Caroline. The last contact was 18 months ago. Mom sent a text. Can we talk about reconciliation? I responded, I'm open to that conversation when you can articulate specifically what you're apologizing for. She never replied. Sometimes I think about that planning dinner. The smell of truffle oil. Mom's pen crossing out my name. The decisive cruelty of it. And I think, she wanted successful family only at that head table. She got exactly what she asked for. I just wasn't sitting at it.